is getting late early for the Vegas Devils as they try to clinch a playoff spot in the wild card race in the Western Conference. Across from them, the St. Louis Rivermen, who have a playoff spot clinched and are trying to take care of their division. Welcome in to Friday Night Primetime UFL action here on VFN. It is Chris Curtis along with Gerald Smith on the call this evening. Gerald, should be a good one. Two teams with something to play for.
Yeah, you got a couple of things. You have one team that's already in the playoffs in the Rivermen, and like you said, you have the Devils that are 9-5. They're still not in. If they win tonight, they can get in, but both teams coming off of a loss. Vegas losing 3 in a row, and the last 2 by multiple scores, and St. Louis getting their first home loss last week.
Yeah, not great for them, but we are underway. Vegas is going to start with this football up to the 20 to the 22-yard line, and that is where they will start things on the offensive side. Frank Stearns, the quarterback, Jack Nitro, the main halfback, along with Ethan Flowers, Braylon Battle, the 2 wide receivers in tandem for the Devils. First play from scrimmage, a play action bomb, right side and deep. How about gone? The Vegas Devils are on the board after one scrimmage play. It is Ethan Flowers to the house.
78 yards, Ethan Flowers. They go big early, and I don't know what the DB was looking at right there, but he just got somewhat confused and burnt. No safety help. Ethan Flowers, he's been great all season and does it again there. What a way to start out this game at home.
That play action, I think, threw everyone off guard on the Riverman defense. That defensive back had no match for the speed of Ethan Flowers trying to catch up to him. What a ball. And Vegas gets started on the right foot, trying to get their playoff spot done and over with. 6-0 lead for Vegas to start things out, and that'll bring on Zach Martin's extra point. What a start for Vegas.
Yeah, it's and it's what they needed, right? Like, you come in this game and you're losing 3 in a row, and you lost your last 2 by multiple scores. You're able to come right here and kick it off with a bang with a 78-yard strike on the very first play from scrimmage. Only 13 seconds of game time tick off the clock, and here you are, a 7-0 lead.
How about this for an efficient drive? One play, 78 yards. Ethan Flowers' 9th receiving touchdown of the season. That is also Vegas's longest touchdown pass of the season, longest pass in general of the season for the Devils. And like I said, great start for them. And now St. Louis up against it to start things out. They'll get the ball, and essentially they're just the handicapped 7 points.
Yeah, and that's not how you want to start out, right? Even though you know St. Louis and these two teams, you got to think of it, and they're kind of weird in the way. St. Louis on the road is 3-3. You got Vegas at home, who is 3-4 at home. They play better on the road than what they do at home, and St. Louis plays better at home than they do on the road.
Broken tackle on the return gets them out to the 30-yard line for the Rivermen as they start things off. Decent return, but not a lot to it as we get things underway for the Rivermen on offense. It is Karen Koizumi and then Junior McCray, the main quarterback halfback combination. Koizumi will set up a screen. Running back is on the outside. Nearly got the first down, but it stopped just short. And that'll make it a 2nd and 1 second inches is what they'll say. That'll work. It's at least something different for Junior McCray right out the box.
Yeah, and they're able to get themselves in a pretty good situation, right? Look, they're able to kind of get 9.9 off of that first play. Really good start.
Nickel defense for Vegas. Chance for Koizumi. Backs it up, throws to the outside, little safety valve play, and that will get him to the sideline. That should get him a first down. This offense for St. Louis, Junior McCray, who we mentioned, the tight end Homer J, is going to be one of the main targets for the St. Louis offense as well.
Yeah, look, and they're actually coming in, right? Looking, and they're sitting right now at 10 wins with this. Look, and they have, like you mentioned earlier, hey, they have another team on their heels. So if they slip up, right now they sit at #1 seed. If they slip up in this game, they could look at being at number 5.
Yeah, it's a hard drop from there. No gain on 2nd down. 3rd down actually moves them back a yard and make it 4th and 1. So a great stop on defense for Vegas as they get to 4th down for St. Louis. St. Louis is going to likely have to punt this ball away and give it back to the Devils leading 7-0.
Yeah, and I don't know if you want to do that the way they started the game out, just kind of slinging it out there. But I mean, they got to play the game. And on that 2nd down play, it looked like it was a completion, but they called him short.
Yeah, it looks like maybe he didn't have 2 feet in bounds or whatever the case was, but it was close. This will be a punt over the head and down at the 12-yard line. 11 is what they'll say, and that's where the Devils will start this next drive. So you don't think they would do it again, do you?
I would. I'd give it a try and see if they're going to bite on that play fake, because you look, they got Jack Nitro, and he's got over 1,000 yards on the season in Vegas.
See what they can do in the gun. That is to the outside, a near broken tackle, but he did get worked up and taken down right at the end of that play. So that is at least a completion for Vegas. It's Frank Stearns on first down, makes it a 6-yard play. In the gun on second down. Handoff through the middle, first down and more. Great hole to jump through for Jack Nitro, and he has a real nice run. Make it 1st and 10 for Vegas.
Yeah, Jack Nitro on the season, he's averaging almost 5 yards a carry, and you can tell right there, come out right there. And look at the blocking right here, just blowing guys right off the line. And when you got your center already at the 2nd and 3rd level before Jack Nitro breaks the line, that's what you want to see from your offensive lineman.
On pace average-wise with the leaders in the Great West Conference, that was Payne Price, who we saw earlier this week on Primetime, is the leader in that department. It's a high-point pass that ended up getting dropped as we take a look at this Vegas defense, and it is anchored by that right end Tyrone Johnson right in the middle, number 93.
Yeah, look, and Vegas going to look right here, right, and try and keep this drive going. As on that first down play, they actually dropped the ball there. So look, and Jack Nitro looked like they did. Look, I would start with him. They started out with a bang on the first drive, but look, bring it back with the running back. Get our play action.
This will be a rollout instead, and that is a sideline ball, and a real good ball at that. That's a real nice catch over the left side of the plane, and it's a 1st and 10 as they get it on the sidelines.
They're looking really, really good right now, playing at home, where like I said, they usually don't play very well at all.
Yeah.
It's just them at home. They've only won 3 out of 7, but they're coming out right now playing real well.
Trying to get back to 500. DeJon McDowell is the one on the catch for that previous play. 1st and 10 for Vegas. It'll be a run. Left side, and a lot of room towards the 20, 10, 5, and out at the 1-yard line. Wow, what a run. That was a great handoff. I can't believe that Glidden even had that kind of lane, but he did, and it's 1st and goal.
Yeah, look, they came out in somewhat of a wildcat type formation right there in the snap, and they did this a read option type thing, and Glidden, one of their wide receivers, is back there, just fakes the handoff and just takes off and gets knocked out at the half-yard line.
Well, now it's 1st and goal, and now Vegas has a chance to go up 2 scores. Handoff through the middle. Got to get there and does. That's a touchdown. Jack Nitro puts a cap on a great Vegas drive, and they're up 14 points, 2 touchdowns early on in this game.
Look, and they had a couple of splash plays, right? The first one came on their first drive with their very first play from scrimmage, and then you get Glidden that runs a mile, gets them inside the 1, and Jack Nitro is able to cap it off. So, look, they're setting the tone early right now and knowing like, hey, look, we potentially have our playoff hopes on the line. We know if we win, we're in, right? And they want to get in this week and not have to worry about any drama next week the way they're playing right now.
Zach Martin's extra point is up, and it is through. No issue. 14-0 Vegas. You're right, because if they win, like you said, they're in. But if not, they have as many as 7 teams that are nipping at their heels trying to get into their spot. So this becomes, I wouldn't necessarily say a must-win for Vegas, but their chances are running out if they don't. And right now, they're off to a real good start, being up 14 points. So now St. Louis is really on the back foot here.
Yeah, look, and they got to come out, and they actually got to put something up there, right? Them just going 3 and out on their first drive after that really big offensive drive with Vegas's first offensive drive, and then having to go 3 and out, and then allowing Vegas to go down there again on this particular drive that they just had, and now they're down 2 scores. It's not looking good. They got to do something. They got to do something quick.
Not ideal for St. Louis's offense as they come out down 14 points. But hey, you know what? A touchdown can make things all better as far as getting them back into this football game and quelling the Vegas tide of momentum that we've had early on in this football game. And wow, Crazy start, but the best thing that stops a crazy start is a long, methodical drive from the Riverman offense.
Yeah, look, and they're going to need it right here, right? Because they need to pick up a first down, right? I know it's not on the second drive, but they got to pick up a first down to get a little bit of moment. Oh no,
Koizumi in trouble and goes down at the 13-yard line, or the 16 is what they'll say. Wow, in forward progress helped him out a little bit, but not much, as the Vegas Devils on defense come to play.
Yeah, and he just comes right around the edge. Alves just comes right around the edge, just untouched. It's like that right tackle didn't even see what's going on, and the running back didn't help either. And he just go down. And now they're way behind the chains on second down.
Yeah, Darius Alves, like you said, with the sack there, and that puts Koizumi in the gun by herself, and then a false start to add on. And a little bit of Murphy's Law for the St. Louis Rivermen right now as Houston gets caught with the false start.
Yeah, and as they say, like when it rains and pours, right? You go 3 and out after having, 2 tries from like inches to go, and now here they are, like 2nd and 23.
The handoff and nothing doing. How? Man, Vegas just has a view into their backfield. What a hit. And that is going to put them at 3rd and very, very long.
Bridge comes right in there, wasn't fooled by anything, and this is like 2 consecutive plays going backwards plus a penalty. They've gone backwards. I think they probably have negative total yards on the actual game right now.
Nah, I would not be surprised, but they can get some of it back right here. Koizumi got to at least give their punter some room. Got to get rid of it. Heave deep downfield, tipped and well out of bounds. Good Lord, the physics on that just sent that into the first row, and it is 4th down on a punt coming up for the Rivermen once again.
Yeah, and look, and the Vegas defense is like, if someone's going to catch this ball, you taking a shot, it's going to be someone in the stands, because we're not even making sure that you're getting it. And they just slung it out there, and that ball just took off. But look, the Vegas has got 2 3 and outs, and now they actually have their opponent with probably like negative 14 or 15 yards of total offense off of 2 drives. Very, very good defense. He goes 2 times in a row.
Not to mention the penalty that was unforced error from St. Louis. This will be a return to the 40-yard line is what they'll say. And now Vegas with a chance to really put their foot on the throat early of this St. Louis team, as Stearns 3 for 4. That's all he's needed so far to come up with a 2-touchdown lead, already over the century mark in yards. See what they can do. 2 to the right, 1 to the left, 1 in the gun with him. Stearns has the football, backs it up, looks to throw this. Easy throw left side. That one's caught just past the 50 to the 47-yard line into Riverman territory.
Yeah, look, and this is the thing right here, right? And this is what St. Louis even wanted to, stress on, right? Coming into this week, they were completely gashed by Motor City's vertical passing game last week, right? And they just been, putting a lot of stress, in their defensive backs this week to try and help this. But so far, it hasn't really done them all that well, the way Vegas is passing early.
6 and 12 left in this first quarter. Handoff to the running back, Jack Nitro. Bringing in Cameron Irvine, our AI expert, talking about the spring-loaded football that ended up in about the 15th row.
Guys, welcome, and good evening to you. I think Mike Daggs was upset that he couldn't be here tonight. I think he put a drone in that ball. I think he remote controlled. That was crazy. He was volleyballing in. I've never seen anything like that. Daggs, come on, man. It's not all about you. That was insane. But just like Gerald said, St. Louis spent a lot of time on their defensive backs this week. This is a surprising start for them for sure.
Yeah, that 15th row football souvenir brought to you by Daggs Drone Works. Real estate and marketing video. Go to dagsdroneworks.com for more information. His first and 10 is Vegas. Gets another first down as they're moving well within St. Louis territory. Great start as Nitro gets another handoff.
Yeah, look, and they can do no wrong right now in Vegas, right? They're passing the ball well, they're running it well, and they have huge running lanes as well, right? So they're not fooling around.
St. Louis, everybody is wide-eyed right now. Quick slant, that is going to get them a few more yards added on, make it a 2nd and 3 as they get even closer down to the 28-yard line.
Yeah, look, and they're doing everything that they need to do. Anything they say, hey, look, can you do it? Yeah, we can do it, and they're doing it pretty darn good right now.
Ready, go. Ready.
181 to -1 in total yards right at the moment, just to kind of give you a view of what that looks like as that one creates a 3rd and short. This is a chance for St. Louis to get off the field. This is a must-have for them to hold Vegas to potentially 3 points if they can make a long field goal. But this is a must-have for St. Louis to get a stop and try to quell the momentum. Handoff. Nitro has the first down. That's not going to work. The juke brings him 3 or 4 more yards down to the 19-yard line.
Yeah, and they come in there and they put in Dedrick Wright to come in there to give Jack Nitro a little bit of a spell, and he puts a little bit of a move on a guy right there. Just left him stuck in the turf. But look, Vegas has coming out swinging and is doing what they need to do, because look, they're looking at next week as well. Next week, if I'm not mistaken, they play Salt Lake, and they go to Salt Lake and play. Salt Lake is sitting at 12-2 right now. If they lose this game, I mean, they're going in there saying, hey, look, man, it's a must-win against one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, that's a play action. Chance for Stearns, end zone, got him. That is a touchdown. Talk about putting your foot on the throat. That's another big-time score for the Vegas Devils. That is Braylon Battle, and both of their receivers have a touchdown tonight.
Yeah, look, and like we spoke about, like the vertical passing game is something that they knew they needed to address. And so far right now, their wide receivers of Vegas are getting way too deep and behind the DBs of St. Louis, and it's just not working for them at all right now. I mean, St. Louis has got to do something. They're down 3 scores in the first quarter. I know there's a lot of time left. They're going to have to make adjustments, and they got to make them fast.
They're going to put a booth review on this. That's a good review, I think, as that pylon cam gave us a view of the 2 feet 1, and I don't see a second foot.
Wow.
This may be turned back because he did not have possession while that second foot was down.
Wow. This is going to be really, really big right here. Now, we're going to see how this mental mistake looms. We're going to see what the call is going to be here shortly, but if they don't get a touchdown here,
they gave it to him. That's touchdown. They confirmed it. So, wow, I guess they saw something we didn't, but I only saw 1 foot. That's an interesting call from the officiating booth, as that extra point is up and good from Zach Martin. So the word oof backwards is foo. And right now, Vegas is making St. Louis look like a bunch of foos out there. Nothing doing for the Rivermen going on in this first quarter of play.
Yeah, and it almost looks like these. Look, I know they're close in record, but it's like, man, like you wouldn't think that you'd have a team in Vegas, but Vegas is showing, hey, look what they're doing. You think about it, they were 9-2 before, they had this 3-game skid that they had, so they were looking pretty good up until recently, and they started kind of taking a slide. But I mean, Vegas here at home, like I said, they're not typically this good at home. They're a lot better on the road. Man,
they're doing actually something today.
Yeah, and it's working for them, I tell you.
There, it is indeed. That last touchdown also was on Dynamite McCray, the defender. That's that's St. Louis's best defender of the ball. So that was a bit of a surprise. AI expert Cameron Irvine had some insight on the touchdown. I think it was on the extension of the foot. They say that he got that first foot down. So that's why they called it the touchdown the way it is. But that's not going to make St. Louis feel any better about it, as St. Louis now has a bit of work to do, to say the least.
Yeah, it's they got quite a bit, and it's got to start with getting a first down, because they haven't got one yet.
This will be a handoff, trying to get something. That's positive yardage for St. Louis, and a huge hit right at about the 10-yard mark of that run, make it 2nd in inches. That's at least something positive going forward.
Yeah, look, and this is the way their very first drive started. They had a 2nd in inches right here. Let's see if they can punch it through on 2nd down and pick up a first.
And off again. That's a first down and a little bit more. That's a couple of near first downs right away, as Junior McCray has 2 nice runs to start this drive. That's a little bit of momentum. There's a lot of football left in this game. 21-0 is not the end of this game by any stretch. So a little bit of momentum can go a long way towards reversing this tide.
Yeah, look, and they're doing it right here, trying to slow the game down a little bit, trying to get something to go their way. That way they can try to build somewhat of some type of momentum to kind of trigger them to actually start playing a lot better than what they are right now.
Oh, a flag. Okay. Procedure penalty somewhere, and this is a delay of game. 2 procedural penalties on St. Louis in this first quarter, and that kind of stops any forward momentum.
Yeah, look, and it's the second time. You mentioned earlier, right? The first penalty they had was completely unforced. right? Where they had a false start penalty. This one, just complete mental penalties they've had in the first quarter.
That is going to be a handoff. Another one for McCray. He's got a few more. He cuts down that penalty yardage quite a bit. Gets them to second and 6 as the first down was repeated. So that's at least something to work with.
Yeah, look, and that's what they need. They're actually getting positive yards right here. They didn't get it back up, but after a penalty like that, if you pick up at least half, you're good.
Before this drive started, nice broken tackle, but couldn't break the second one. Before this drive started, they had more penalty yards than they did actual forward yards.
Yeah, and look, and you don't want to get yourself in those situations either. And and this is another tackle for loss for that Vegas defense, right? Being able to get there and swarm to the ball. The first guy doesn't bring them down, but the teammates come in and actually clean it up. So it's a 3rd and long right here for St. Louis, and we're going to see how they actually, come out and plan to attack this.
All right, 3rd and 7. Chance for St. Louis to extend this drive. Got to get it into Vegas territory, which seems remote at this point. Left side, Koizumi has a target out there. It's caught. First down and more to the 38-yard line. They'll say the 37, and St. Louis is moving the ball.
Camille Wales comes through big. I don't know how he got that wide open. A little bit of a breakdown, but he found a spot in the zone right there along the sideline, and he didn't have a guy within 5 yards of him, and he's able to get himself in there and actually, get look. And this could be a momentum starter for them right here. You know what I mean? So I mean, they haven't had such a big play go on at all this game except for that one, and it gets themselves into their opponent's territory.
Good start. They're good to this drive for St. Louis. They're going to try to keep it going. Screen pass to the outside, trying to work around the defenders coming in, but he gets swarmed as we take a look at the Vegas defense. We talked about them a little bit with the way they've played, but they haven't had a lot of on the field time. Chris Phillips, your cornerback 2, is my key to watch.
Yeah, look, and they've actually been coming through pretty good right now on these first couple of drives here. This one's a little bit different. Seems like St. Louis slowed it down on them a little bit, but I mean, they shut them down 2 times in a row, and they got a 3-score lead, so they're not doing too bad so far.
Bunch left, one off to the right for Koizumi. McCray takes the handoff on the delay. It's a first down, and looks like a horse collar, but no call on the tackle. 1st and 10 as we end the first quarter of play. It is not St. Louis's start they envisioned, but it's the start they got. 21-0 Vegas over the Rivermen on the Virtual Football Network. Chris Curtis, Gerald Smith along with you in Vegas as the Rivermen try to get something going on offense. That is a Junior McCray run that did not deserve 2 yards, but that's what they got. 2nd and 8.
His generous 2 yards as well. He had to fight for those 2 yards because he got hit in the backfield. But man, like the way the defensive front and linebackers are playing the run right now is pretty darn good.
Playing the run and really playing the pass as well, although Koizumi has not passed all that much. Will on this play. Over the middle, quick little escape valve and dropped it. Couldn't hold on, make it 3rd and long for St. Louis.
And here's another 3rd and long. I feel like these 3rd downs are getting so stressful for them already, and it's only the start of the 2nd quarter.
Here we go. Backing it up. Throws Koizumi. It's incomplete. That route nearly jumped. That would have been going back the other way if not for the receiver playing defense there. It's 4th down, and don't look now. The Rivermen are going to have to give it back to Vegas.
Yeah, and what a play right there by Chris Phillips to kind of come in there really, really quickly and close on that ball and being able to get his hand up. Watch this right here. You're going to see it right here. Got his hand just in the way, and he broke on the ball right there to be able to force that and have them force this ain't a chip shot.
Yeah. No, it's not. They're going to try to hit it regardless. 24 yards. It's going to be a 41-yarder from this spot. Left hash. Kick is up and on the way. It is up, and it is through. So they will put it through. That is Gordon Bradley's field goal, making it a 3-point try and successful attempt for St. Louis. That's their first point on the board.
Yeah, so it's better to get some points than no points, which is what they had, up until this point. But it's positive for them, right? Any points is positive right here. But now their defense has got to step up. We know they've been struggling, especially in the passing game right here. So they're going to have to step up, and they're going to have to do something a lot better than what they've been doing. Because if not, I mean, you got to look out for Ethan Flowers and Braylon Battle and a little bit of Jack Nitro. Look, and even watch out for Glidden on his read option run he had earlier in the game. So I mean, there's a lot they got to look out for. Right now, I don't think St. Louis knows, how Vegas is going to plan to attack them.
They don't know which direction it's going to come from. That's the biggest thing there, as this will be tucked back as Vegas will bring it out to the 25-yard line. The 2 penalties we saw on that last drive, or so far today for St. Louis, I should say, not just on that drive, but they only have 14 penalties so far in the season. That's one of the top 10 for fewest in the league. And so they really hurt themselves quite a bit, not really prepared for what they had coming today, as Vegas will start with first down. Chance for Stearns. He's got a ball over the middle. That's a slant on the inside and a first down and a couple more as they add some more to their totals, 1st and 10.
And Dylan White just coming on a little bit of somewhat of a short slant right there and been able to pick up a chunk of yards. And man, Vegas looks really, really good right now.
5 wide. Stearns short. The little comeback route did nothing for the yardage, as that is going to actually lose them a couple of yards, make it 2nd and 11. 10:23 to go in this first half.
Yeah, Ethan Flowers caught it and just had way too much momentum and couldn't stop to go backwards. So, but it's good for St. Louis on this one right here, right? For them to actually get themselves somewhat of a positive play defensively. Now they got like a TFL on that one, believe it or not.
Bunch right, one to the left as well, one in the backfield. Play action, throwing, picked off. St. Louis needed that. That's returnable down to the 30-yard line. That was absolutely necessary. Clements comes up with it, gets the pick, and St. Louis is in business.
Yeah, and he stepped right in front of it. I'm not exactly sure what Stearns saw, because I don't even know if he was open because he was standing right there next to him. But that's something you don't want after you have a 3-score lead, and then you you shut them down from getting into the end zone, and you turn the ball over right here in your own territory. The opponent is now in prime position to be to get themselves back in this game now.
Darby Clements, the one with the pick. I think he read the inside route. They did the inside slant earlier on the drive, and Clements is like, oh no, not on my watch. He came up and took it away. 1st and 10 for St. Louis. This becomes a crazy bit of momentum swing right now. That ball is dropped. Koizumi 3 for 7 in the game so far. She's going to need to find it 2nd and 10.
Yeah, she's got to do a lot more than what she's been doing right here, but they got to come up with these catches.
And off McCray.
It's a fumble!
And it might be a scoop. And it might be 6 down the field at the 20-10-5 to the house. It's a scoop 6 for Vegas, and they get the momentum right back.
Yeah, they came in there and they rushed it and they actually ripped it out. And Chris Phillips comes through and just does a scoop and score. Wanted to look at it and see who actually stripped it. Came right the Alvis. Alvis stripped it out, and what
Phillips says, look what I found.
And what a devastating play for St. Louis. They had a lot of the momentum right there, and now it's just it's all gone.
Yep. After forcing the turnover, Clements gets the interception, and then immediately it is Chris Phillips picking up the scoop that's caused by Alvis and brought it all the way back to the house. We talked about it. Chris Phillips was the one that I was keying on for this secondary for Vegas. He makes another play. He had a pass deflection earlier that gave him his 15th of the season, and he gets a scoop 6 here, and Vegas really starting to put their foot in the holds and climb this mountain.
Yeah, look, and now they're down 25 points early in the second quarter. I mean, offensively, look, it was their best drive. They got down there to put 3 points up, but when your offense turns the ball over and just like that, and direct points are scored off of it with a scoop and score on a fumble, that's not, and it's even harder to take after you actually take it away from the opponent in their own territory. They were in prime position to score and everything else, and then it just flips on its head because they stripped it out, scoop and score, and it's, man, St. Louis got a lot of work cut out for him now.
They really, really do. Chris Phillips' first touchdown of his UFL career. That's something to hold your hat on. Homer J was targeted on that play. and he is second amongst tight ends in the UFL in receiving, and he has no catches so far in this game. This will be a screen pass that is going to get them roughly nothing. They might give him one. They gave him -1, and that is going to be 2nd and 11.
Yeah, and look, and they've been doing a whole lot of going backwards, a whole lot on this in this game so far, and it's and look at the way that the Vegas defense is formed. Look at all the black jerseys right here.
Yeah,
they've been having such good pursuit. I mean, all game.
It's been good. It's been really good for Vegas and really not so good for St. Louis. See if the Rivermen can find something to work with here. That is a stop in the backfield again. Junior McCray is brought down 3rd and 12 coming up.
They are struggling. I don't think. I think they're so shell shocked right now.
Yeah.
I don't think they think that I think they think everything they do is not working when what they thought was working. It just turns out not to be, and it's just all gone. This is the reaction you don't want from your offense when they turn the ball over, and then they get themselves in a situation where the opponent scores, and now you're way down big.
Looking to throw this. Koizumi needs something. She'll tuck it and run. Gonna try to get to the first down marker. She can't do it, and she will be short by about 4 yards. 4th and 4, and that is going to create a punting scenario again for the Rivermen as they give up the ball again.
Not what you want out of your first drive after having a defense scoop and score on you, and now you're giving it right back to the offense that has kind of gone up and down the field on you. So it's going to be really, really tough for them if their defense doesn't start forcing turnover, and if their offense continues to be stuck in the mud like they are.
Stuck in the mud at the moment, but there's a lot of football left. That'll get returned to about the 17-yard line. Week 16 continues tomorrow afternoon for a special game night matinee, including Phoenix, Minnesota, Cleveland, Rochester, and Fresno, New Orleans on the slate. Kickoff start at 2 p.m. Eastern, just before SFL Week 6 gets underway. It's a whole day of football here on the Virtual Football Network. 1st and 10. Play action. Stearns, that's caught. Comeback route's a good one. Stepped out of bounds just past the marker. It'll be 1st and 10.
Yeah, and how do you let them get that wide open? Like I said, that was one of the keys that they worked on all week, right? Because they got just
manhandled,
tore up last week.
Yeah,
because of it, and it seems like what they've addressed just hasn't worked.
This will be a handoff. Nitro, 1st down. Nope, maybe not a 1st down. See what they give him as far as forward progress goes. Nope, it'll be second and inches.
Yeah, and Nitro is getting well over, 5 yards a carry right now. If my math is mathin'.
Your math be mathin'. And that's going to be a handoff. No 5 yards here, though. That is a stop behind the line of scrimmage. He gets taken down 3rd and 3 coming up.
Yeah, look, and that is something that they needed right there, right? Is to be able to get some positive things happen on defense, being able to get that TFL. But it's 3rd and 3. Look at what Nitro's averaging, roughly 5 yards a carry on the day. I mean, they can do anything right now. I mean, they might be able to put, like I said, Glidden ran it for a country mile early in the game. I mean, they can do anything from here.
Single back look, one to the left, one to the right, tight end to the left as well. It'll be a handoff, and St. Louis is there for the stop. They needed that. 4th and 1, and Vegas, for the first time today, will punt it away.
Yeah, and look, and they, which is very, very good for them. They finally got a stop that they needed outside of a turnover. But look, the defense stepped up and did what they needed. Yeah. So their offense is going to get the ball back. The offense just has to make sure they go down there, play mistake-free, at least get some protection on the ball, do something with these last roughly 5.5 minutes you have, and try to go down there and get yourself a score.
Good punt from Babbage. That's going to be all the way down to the 9-yard line, down at the 9-yard line. It just didn't move once it hit the ground. That's great work from Babbage and company, and that will put St. Louis again on their back heels.
Yeah, look, and they need it, and they need it to move the ball, and they have to go a very good length to do it right here, and with these 5.5 minutes they got. But they gotta stay true to what they are and what they do, and they are a really good team. They can come back from this, but they have to have all phases of the game working.
And it'll be handoff to McCray. McCray will get a few, make it a 2nd and 1. So that's at least positive yardage to get them out of the shadow of their own goalpost. Now they can work with a 2nd and 1, and the whole playbook's open for St. Louis.
Yeah, and they got to I think they need to go some tempo ball right now is what I think they need to. Just reactions.
That could be a run forward and another fumble. You saw it coming. As soon as Koizumi got hit, the ball got punched out at the same time, and another big turnover given up, and St. Louis is up against it today.
It just went from bad to worse because you don't want to turn the ball over in this area at all, right? You think you're doing something good and just turn it out, and next thing you know, you're turning it over right here near the red zone.
What a punch.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, this is I'm very surprised. I thought we was going to see a lot different game right here, something a little bit tighter and everything else, right? Because both these teams, like I said, Vegas struggles at home.
Think Vegas was ready for today?
Oh,
I think they
definitely.
absolutely were. Play action. Stearns looking at the 10 to the 5. Juke move to the 3. Make it to the 4-yard line. And that is a 1st and goal for the Vegas Devils.
Look, and you know the play action is going good when a guy like me gets fooled by the play action and it fooled the entire defense. Everybody vacated the entire middle of the field right there. What a great play action play. And now they're at the 3-yard line. Looking to get it 35 and a half.
Braylon Battle with the reception there. Vegas trying to punch it in 4 wide to throw. Stearns looking, throwing, corner. It is incomplete, knocked away.
Stearns waited entirely too long to throw that ball. That was so close to just being a pick 6 and giving St. Louis a little bit of momentum right here. And you can see with this formation, it's looking like they decided to maybe keep the ball on the ground.
Handoff, left side, didn't get in, got it to the 1, no further than that. Jack Nitro brought it to the almost half-yard line.
Man, I wish they would. If I'm Vegas, I'm looking. I'm like, man, maybe we should have ran it on 1st down. But I mean, you got to back like Jack Nitro. You give it to him again.
Yep, that's exactly what they'll do when he's stopped. So St. Louis holds them to a 3-point try. Another big-time hit, and the Rivermen somehow get out of that without giving up more than 3. Chris Reed on the tackle in the backfield.
Yeah, and they're actually getting themselves into it right here. So what a way for them to oh shoot, they going for it here. How about that?
They're going for the kill shot. Stearns in trouble. Fumble picked up by St. Louis, and then back the other way. Is this the goal? It's a big man running though. He's gonna get chased down at the 40-yard line. Oh man, it was a scoop and nearly 6, but it didn't end up being. It was Battle who came back all the way to make the tackle.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, that was Maple Mac scooping it, and the big man, no, it wasn't Maple Mac, but the big man scoops it and is just running down there. And if it wasn't for Braylon Battle, we may have been looking at them having 10 points on the board, but this is what they needed in this type of situation right here, right? When a team wants to try and get greedy and want to go in there and almost try to disrespect you in a way, they came out and they actually got themselves right back in it. So it's very, very good.
They are at the find out stage of the FAFO rule, as where they are now. Jarrett Childs is the one who scooped it and nearly took it all the way back. McCray is not going to get very far on the run. It is 2nd and 8.
Yeah, look, and they're going to have to do something. Look, and look, you got 3 minutes, right? Just calm yourself down. If you're the offense, go down there, and you want to get yourself in a good position to get points. Even if it's just 3, you need points on the board. Look, and that's St. Louis's 10th forced fumble on the season as well. Good for them.
Koizumi has to go to the outside here. That one is caught. There's not a lot to it. And that will create a 3rd and long scenario, 3rd and 8. That fumble that Vegas forced on Koizumi earlier was also their 10th forced fumble of the season as well. So a couple of 10s in pretty good categories defensively. Here comes Koizumi. 3rd and long coming up. Got to have something. Got to get it downfield. Pressure taken down. The sack brings us to the 2-minute warning, and it remains a 28-3 ball game.
Wow.
Koizumi with nothing that she can do at that point. Another punt upcoming. Chris Curtis, Gerald Smith with you high above in Vegas as the Vegas Devils try to bring this win and get themselves in the playoffs. That return will get them to the 13-yard line on the punt. And the last thing St. Louis needs is to give up more points before the end of the first half, but they're in a position where they may do just that.
Yeah, and I'm real interested to see how Vegas is going to attack this right here, right? Are they going to air it out, right, with under 2 minutes left to go in this half, or are they just going to maybe try and just run it out a little bit?
How aggressive they want to be. Burns is in the passing game, throws right side. That's a big-time target downfield to the 35-yard line. And talk about a 22-yard bomb downfield, 1st and 10.
Yeah, look, and Vegas has over 300 total yards of offense right now, just in the first half alone. Look, and this is what you don't want. Like especially if you're St. Louis. I mean, you can't give up this huge chunk of yards right here on first down when it's a way for you to go to the half, not surrendering any more points.
Yeah, got to keep it as close as you possibly can. That was Ethan Flowers on the grab there. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. It'll be a throw for Stearns. He's going to air it out deep right side. Why not go on the one-on-one? But it's incomplete. Nice job on defense to knock that one away. It is 2nd and 10.
Braylon Battle had to turn defensive back right there because he knew he wasn't going to be able to get to the ball. But fortunate enough for them, right, he was able to kind of push the defender and kind of get him off balance to keep him from pulling it down.
2 to the left and 1 to the right. Stearns will back it up, 7-step drop. Looking to throw it. Throws short. Little escape valve play to the 39-yard line. Makes it 3rd and a few. 3rd and 6 to be exact, as they try to extend this drive with 49 seconds to go in it.
Yeah, I think Vegas now, I think what they're going to look at here is that they're just going to, hey, look, if we have a shot, we'll take it. If not, right, we're going to safely kind of, do something safe as to not turn the ball over and give the other team any momentum.
Yeah, this, the risk of not giving any momentum to St. Louis, I think that's the right play. 3rd and 6 coming up. If they have a shot, they take it. 25 to go in this first half. Looking to throw this, puts it out left, short. No, got the first down. Very close, but I think, no, they didn't give it to him. Wow. I thought the measurement was going to put him over, but instead, 4th and inches. And I don't think there was a timeout called, though, so I don't think it matters at this point.
Yeah, no, I think they're going to straight take it to the half. So they're just played it safe, right? Like we kind of figured they would. And they're taking it to the half. So I can't disagree with the way they handle this here.
No, I would agree. So they will be in punt formation, but I don't think it's going to matter. 1 second left, and that is going to bring us. Oh, they're going to. Okay, they're going to run the punt.
Why would you punt it?
And it'll bounce at the 5-yard line and no further than that. And that is where the first half will end. So a little bit interesting decision-making there at the end of the first half, but you can't argue with the results. Vegas up 28-3, Gerald Smith. Tell me what you're seeing and what St. Louis has to do to get back in this game.
Look, and we and this is the thing right here, right? Look, you can see the yards right here, right? The average per play is like 2.9, right? They got to do a lot better than that, right? Average per play. They got to protect the ball, right? They got 2 fumbles. And one right here that we're looking at right here was a return, but they got to protect the football. Their defense has got to get a little bit better. They're starting to shore that up, but their offense has to be better, being able to put points on the board. Because if they can't, this 25-point deficit, they will not be able to come back from.
I'd say there's a lot to this 25-point deficit as well. There's a lot that needs to be cleaned up, really on both sidelines. The turnovers are going to be something that the Devils focus on in the locker room between the second and third quarter. We are going to pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the UFL Primetime game on the Virtual Football Network. This presentation of the UFL is intended for the private use of our audience. Any accounts or descriptions of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited. And a welcome back in to the desert. Chris Curtis, Gerald Smith along with you. At the end of the kickoff, we'll bring in Cameron Irvine. I want to talk to him about the end of that first half and how it went, and why maybe some of those decisions were made in regard to why they even went for the punt. And as far as the Devils go. So we'll talk to him about that in just a moment, but a lot of football left. One half in the books and second half is underway as this is going to get down to the goal line and returnable to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, juke back right to the 25. 24 is Will Markham and Cameron Irvine. The floor is yours.
Thanks, guys. So actually, interesting one there at the end of the first half. That has to do with accelerated clock logic. So in the game, accelerated clock logic, which essentially says at 25 seconds on the play clock, you run it all the way down to 9 or 8 or whatever it is. But that only applies to first through third down. On fourth down, accelerated clock doesn't apply. So once that 25 seconds hits, it doesn't accelerate, and the game essentially forces a play out of fourth down. It's not great logic, but it's not really something. It's something that's hard coded in. It's not really something that we can control. So in as many situations as possible, we try to make sure that the clock does not get down to 25 seconds, the play clock that is, when you're in that kind of situation on fourth down in the final seconds of a half. As to why Vegas did not go no huddle, that's about the score. They're up by 25. We don't often see a UFL game where a team is up by more than 3 scores at the end of a first half and plays conservative, but that's what they did. And look at that, Homer J with his first catch of the game. He has been silent for St. Louis. That's a big throw for them. So that's what happened at the end of the first half, a little bit of everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a variety bag last 5 minutes or so of that first half. No doubt. Homer J gets his first reception, Gerald, on about his 5th target, I do believe, but Vegas has been all over him to start this game.
Yeah, look, and the Vegas defense has been really, really good so far. But look, St. Louis got to make a comeback. I mean, they got to do something. I do think for them, even right now, I think if they go tempo, I do think they might be able to catch them off guard and get them going, right? Get a hurry up, right? Because sometimes these athletes, when they get in a mode, if they have to think too much, guess what happens? That's when mistakes get made. But if you go out there and just to react and just be athletes, sometime you can get some good stuff happening.
Well, I mean, at the moment, their short to intermediate passing game has been pretty decent. 6 seconds on the play clock on first down. This will be a handoff to McCray, his first rush of the second half, and he gets them up the field a little bit, 6 yards on that, making it a 2nd and manageable.
Look, and this is how you want it to come out in the second half, right? You know, knowing you're getting the ball in the second half, being able to just not surrender any more points than the 28 you've already given up. But being able to come out here on a very, very good drive, and it's so clean so far.
Row left side. That one's caught in the curl route down to the 20 to the 18-yard line, and they are in the red zone for the first time today. Talking about St. Louis, 1st and 10 for them as they have it at the 18.
I mean, do you think that now Vegas thinks, hey, look, we can sit back, not give up the big play, right? We're going to give them a little bit in hopes that, hey, look, it's going to take them forever to get down the field, knowing our offense is doing pretty well. But they're playing a little, I think it seems like Vegas is playing a little bit less aggressive to start this half than they did the entire first half.
And I think that's honestly okay. The goal of Vegas should be to make St. Louis spend a lot of time getting you downfield at this point with the deficit the way it is. That's a huge hit as they get 2 yards. No, they don't even get anything on that 2nd and 10. So not ideal. Johnson comes up, makes his 2nd tackle, and it is 2nd and long.
I don't know, man. If I'm a coach, I'm like, man, you got to step on their throat or something. That's how it would be.
Oh, that's a problem. Oh, and it's a tackle, but it's not for a loss. I thought he was going to get in the backfield just on the blitz. That was a safety blitz coming up to knock him down, but they still get 4 yards out of it, 3rd and 6.
Yeah, Junior McCray actually carried a defender at least about 3 yards to pick up something, but very big 3rd down for St. Louis here.
Got to have it. Got to get it to the 8-yard line. Koizumi in trouble, tucks it, runs. Got to get something with this. The slide at the 2-yard line, and it's 1st and goal for the Rivermen. Great instincts from Koizumi there. Finally uses her feet to escape and get down and not give up a fumble, though.
Man, it looks like she actually had end zone on her mind until she's seen all these dudes coming at her. It was like, I think I better get down because I've already dropped the ball. Very good decision by her.
1st and goal. This is a St. Louis need for this score to have any shot in this football game. Left side on the screen, not going to happen. They're going the wrong way to the 6-yard line, 2nd and goal.
Oh man, you don't want to go backwards right there, right? You don't. I mean, look, I mean, they got Junior McCray, right? He just got finished carrying not that long ago. You know, a couple of defenders forward. I mean, just hand it off to him, let him do his thing.
Pass on the goal line. Talk to Russell Wilson. See how that worked out.
It's not. It's just not working.
Second and goal. St. Louis trying to get something done. Handoff, McCray. That's a fumble. He dropped the ball, and Vegas is going to pick it up again. Oh, man, they cannot hold onto the ball to save their life right now, and Vegas is going to get the ball back.
I will say that Junior McCray got lit up.
Yeah.
He got destroyed by the linebacker, number 54, Damon Careful. It's like, wow. He's seeing stars right now. Mr. McCray, you need to go get yourself checked because you got lit up. But that's not what they needed. That's his second fumble of the day. One was stripped. One was just knocked the lights out of him. And wow. And they're going to booth review it.
They are. They're going to see if there was actually a fumble there, if it came out before he hit the ground. The ground cannot cause a fumble.
Yeah,
interesting
like
call. Let's see. No, that ball was moving. That's a fumble. He got down, or the ball was moving before his elbow hit the ground. I think that is going to be a fumble. We'll see. No, they reversed it. St. Louis keeps the ball. Wow. Third and goal.
Huge.
Koizumi's got to take advantage of this. Handoff. Got to get there. Can't do it. Get to the 1 yard line, 4th and goal, and I think St. Louis is in a spot where they might want to go for this.
I think you have to go right here. You have to get points right here. Look, I don't think 3 points does you much of anything here. You know, you're still down 22 points, right? Which is 3 scores, whether you get the field goal or not.
Let's see.
Why?
No, they're going to kick a field goal. Wow.
No.
I disagree with the decision, but it does bring it back to a 3-score game at 22 points. So that very well could be the reason that they decided to kick the field goal. Bradley puts it through, so 3 points on the board. I mean, you're looking at a chip shot. That was only a 18-yard field goal. But I guess points are points.
Yeah, and I would like to see, listen to our beautiful, Commissioner Mr. Irvine and see what he thinks about there, and if there's something that is built in that drove that decision.
Yeah, I think that decision was based on the score and the amount of possessions it's going to take, but we'll talk to him here in a second when he is ready, because I would like to hear his point of view on that as well. So kick is going to be up and away. Vegas going to get this ball back. We'll see how they respond to the field goal. This will be returnable to the 20 to the 23-yard line. And Cameron, if you're ready, if you're not ready, that's fine. Tell us about it.
Yeah, let's start with the positives. St. Louis's field goal makes it go from a 4-score game to a 3-score game. So it does do something for them. But I'm with Gerald and you guys. I think they probably should have gone for it. What happens in those moments in the first 3 quarters, in the fourth quarter aggressive logic gets different. But in the first 3 quarters, it's all about a formula. If they want to go for it 20% of the time, it's a roll of the dice 1 out of 5 times. It doesn't matter where it is or what the situation is. The game doesn't necessarily factor in the fact that, we've struggled all game and we're 1 yard away from scoring. It's just seeing fourth and goal, 1 yard to get it. Should we go for it or should we not go for it? So that's one of those unfortunate. We don't have enough time to code this type of thing, but essentially they just didn't get the dice roll in that moment, and they probably wish they did.
Screen pass out. That's a first down and a big-time juke as well. Man, Stearns took a hit on that pass as well. 1st and 10 for Vegas as they convert the 3rd down.
Yeah, and he actually found his safety valve right there, and Jack Nitro. And look, and when when he found a safety valve like that and him being able to pick that up, because look, St. Louis had Vegas where they wanted 3rd and long. I think it was like 3rd and 9, before that play, and found the safety valve right there coming off. And Nitro was able to get what he needed to pick it up.
1st and 10 for the Devils. Delayed handoff, very delayed, and that did not go very far. That is a 2nd and 12 coming up.
Look, and I think now St. Louis is more. The time is also their opponent as well, right? Here we are, less than halfway through the third quarter right here, and Vegas isn't looking to do anything crazy. I mean, they're going to try and chew some clock up.
Yeah. That's exactly what they should be doing. See what they can do. 2nd and 12. Another handoff expected, and St. Louis is all over. So another loss of a yard. 3rd and 13. St. Louis has a chance to get off the field here and get the football back, which honestly they need it as much as they can possibly get it. 3rd and 13. They got to get it to the 47-yard line for a first down. In the gun. Stearns looks, throws, left, caught. Got to move it upfield. First down and more, all the way to midfield. And Vegas converts the 3rd and long again.
Look, and this is the thing with Vegas, too. That's one of the things actually Vegas worked on as well. What they wanted to stress is their 3rd down efficiency this week, right? Which is had them on their skid, and they were struggling on 3rd down. And what are they doing today? They're coming up big on 3rd down right here. And once again, the pass defense of St. Louis is letting them down after they were stressing, hey, this is where we need to improve. You can see how, hey, look, one team actually addressed it and actually worked pretty well, and the other team tried to address it, and it's not.
1st and 10, Stearns, right side. That's caught. Trying to turn it upfield. First down and more. Down to the 33-yard line. More good work from Vegas as they're progressing downfield pretty methodically at this point. I think the time to chew clock for them has come. I think they're going to try to go for the score here.
Yeah, look, and they're doing it right now. It's like when they get on these rolls, right, where they're actually doing it, and they get that one play, it seems to snowball on St. Louis, right? The problem gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then all of a sudden they make a good play and they're able to kind of keep Vegas in check. But then the one big play, a big 3rd down conversion, and then St. Louis, it takes St. Louis probably 3 to 5 plays to kind of start correcting some of the problems. And by that point, it's seeming like it's just ending up too late for them.
1st and 10. Vegas with a chance to do something. That one's nearly picked off, but it was dropped. Oh, man. Stearns is thanking his lucky stars because he'd still be running.
Yes, that was a missed opportunity for St. Louis right there. Look, as they have many this game, right? Like, those are the opportunities you cannot mess up.
Stearns, play action, throws, left side wide open. Got to turn it, can't do it upfield, but he does get a few yards there, make it 3rd and 2 coming up.
Yeah, and that was their opportunity. See, that was their opportunity to get back in it, just to play before this, this last one. That's the opportunity to get themselves back in it and turn the ball over. And again, what they do, they give up a big yardage play.
Oh, and a big hit. That's a huge play. Gets the stop. They do hold them to likely a 3-point try here. Chris Reed again with another big hit. 4th and 4. And I mean, the problem is it kind of deletes that field goal that St. Louis had earlier on that 4th down.
Yep, and here they are, right? They're going to be in a situation where they can actually add more. They can actually get themselves back to a 4-score lead. Yep. And man, St. Louis just is not playing well, like, at all.
So field goal upcoming. Be a 44-yarder, and it's up and it's through. So yes, they do reverse the trend and get themselves on the board with the field goal. Zach Martin puts it through from 44 yards, and that is going to put them at ease, I think, because they just completely eliminated a previous St. Louis possession.
Yep, and the way that their defense is playing right now, right, allowing St. Louis to kind of get down there and come away with only 6 total points, no touchdowns, got a couple of turnovers to go along with it. I think Vegas feels pretty good about where they are, and I think St. Louis is on the verge of like, hey, is it time to start panicking? I think so, but like I said, I do think if they go more of a tempos type offense, I don't know if they're going to do this, but if you get your actual ball players out there being the athletes that they are, right, and it's all just like read and react type stuff, I do think that's a good thing to do.
Kick is up and gone. Gives St. Louis back the football 3 yards deep into the end zone. Returnable to the 22-yard line. They'll give them the 22, and that is 1st and 10. So, I mean, St. Louis needs to be in quick strike mode as Haggins brings back the return. So this needs to be a touchdown in the next probably 2 minutes of in-game time. Otherwise, it's going to make this road very, very difficult to try to traverse in the 4th quarter.
I agree 100%.
Throw short, not long enough on the throw, but they do complete the pass, and that makes it 2nd and 7.
See, and that's where they've had like a lot of their success, right? That very short passing game, somewhere between 5 to 7 yards, routes and stuff like that. But I do think that's what Vegas has given them on defense as well. Like take what they're giving you and then make the strike whenever it's necessary.
In the gun, throw on the slant that's caught, and a first down and more down to the 35-yard line. That's progress at the very least.
Yeah, look, and I'm going to be interested to see, right, as this turns over from the third quarter to the fourth quarter, if they're going to go with the tempo type offense.
And off, McCray nearly gets the first down. They'll make it 2nd and inches here, 2nd and 1, and that'll bring us to the end of the third quarter. So the Devils trying to wrap up this game and get a spot in the playoffs secured. It's 31-6. They're well on their way as we start the fourth. Chris Curtis, Gerald Smith with you. Fourth quarter of action here from Las Vegas. Throw right side. That's a first down and near the midfield mark, I should say, the 49-yard line for McCray, and that'll have him 1st and 10.
Yeah, look, and at least they're starting the fourth quarter off right by actually looking, and they're actually going no huddle, which is something that they need to do.
Yeah, they needed to do that earlier, I think, but fourth quarter logic, I understand. That's going to be a first down throw, 4 yards, gets out of bounds, takes the clock away, stops it at least, and that puts them at 2nd and 6.
Yeah, I do think that, look, once they find a really good matchup right of what they need, I do think they just keep going with it.
Looking to throw this. Koizumi will take off. She's done this before, gets enough for the first down, slides down to move the chains and keep the drive moving.
Yeah, look, and I don't know if she had just one read on that play, and it was like, hey, if that read ain't there, you run. But she had the protection she needed.
Looking to throw this. Another run. And another fumble. And Vegas picks it up again. Man, oh man, Koizumi cannot buy a break. And it is 1st and 10, Vegas going back the other way.
And that's 4 fumbles. This is 5 total turnovers today. 2 fumbles by the running back, 2 fumbles by the quarterback. And I don't even know, why would you want to run up the middle even on that? Oh, this is so unfortunate. They kind of had a shot right there.
Man, oh
wow.
Man. There's going to be some ball security drills in practice this coming week. We know that.
Wow, it's not good.
Nope. And now Vegas is going to have their chance to really kill this clock. Stearns backs it up, 7-step drop. Now continues to back up, breaks through a sack, still has the football, throws left side, and it will hit the turf. Man, that was something. As St. Louis gets home but doesn't wrap him up.
Look, I think those who know me right know I love Tecmo Bowl. That was a Tecmo Bowl type move by Stearns right there. Keep running back and just chuck it down the field.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Stearns will throw short. Got to try to turn it up. Not going to happen. Bubble didn't work on this try, and it is 3rd down coming, 3rd and 9.
Yeah, look, and this is a way and at least St. Louis is in an opportunity now where they can try and make short work of the possession by Vegas, and they need to do it right here. If they convert here, I do think it's going to take any kind of a win that may be in St. Louis's sales right out.
That is going to be a run and nearly got the first down. Nitro nearly made it happen. It's 4th down, and they will likely punt it away.
If Nitro would not have stuttered right there, if he keeps running, I think that's a first down, and
I think so
and
too.
We could just put one more nail in the coffin there. But it's a very nice tackle right there by Matt coming through, just not quitting on the play, and being able to come back and just never quit, even though your team is down this much, never quit.
Yeah, no kidding. And they're still gonna fight either way. They still have things to look forward to for next week and beyond. So they're going to do what they can. That'll bounce at the 5-yard line. Man, these punts on both sides are just hitting the ground and not moving. They're essentially kicking lawn darts the way these things are bouncing, and it just bounces at the 5 and dies.
Shoot, they had one earlier that bounced at like the 1 and then bounced back to the 11-yard line. I'm like, yeah, it's going to end zone. Nope, bounce right back. Very, very good punter play today right here.
Take a look at the playoff picture for the Western Conference. Aztecs move up into the 2 spot after their win over San Diego earlier in the week on Primetime. And then the East right there, Riverman sitting in the 1 spot, but they're going to be taking a hit as that play goes for 8 yards. As the rest of the Eastern Conference, they're getting a little bit more excited every time the clock ticks down and the Rivermen are down.
Yeah, because it actually opens it up now. Look, and the Rivermen right here, look, this could very well take them down to 5th.
Yeah,
because right now they're like up high there right now, right? Look at, you can see them, they're sitting at number 1. If they lose this game right here, that automatically knocks them down to half game in their own division, which would now propel Dallas now to the number 1 seed. So it could get real interesting.
There'll be a handoff through the middle. Got close. Yeah, and then Dallas takes on Los Angeles this week. So the Aztecs going to be back in play against Dallas, who wants a win to continue their momentum. St. Louis in no huddle trying to get something done on 3rd down. Koizumi tucks it and runs. 1st down, got to get down, does. And that will be a 1st and 10 for St. Louis.
Man, she's got to get down way quicker than that, because you seen when she fumbled like the last time she ran, and I mean she didn't get down quick enough. If you're gonna run, I mean you got to protect yourself and protect the ball.
Got to do it. Completely agree. Koizumi's going to throw here in theory. I say in theory because she's eyeing it and then finally throws it away. I thought she was going to take off and run. She had a gap to the left right through the A gap and didn't end up taking it.
Yeah, and that's man, they had so much potential coming into this week, and it just hasn't quite worked out for them. They just look out of sorts.
Koizumi now throws. This one's in play, and that is dropped. Wow. You're right. Couldn't hold on. 3rd down. Just a little bit of greasy fingers coming out from the receiving core for St. Louis. A little too much popcorn if you get the longest yard reference.
Yeah, and like she's got they're just not helping themselves at the moment.
That's going to be through the middle and just past midfield. It'll be a 1st down at the very least. So they move the chains into Vegas territory.
Yeah, and I do think right now, Chris, I do think it's a little too late for them. I mean, do they have an opportunity? Yeah, but they got to do a whole lot. Everything's got to go right for them.
Throw short, caught. And that's another 5-yard gain. Not much to that, but that'll make it a 2nd and 6.
Yeah, and Homer J just coming away with another catch, but it's nothing. It's only his 2nd reception of the day, only 24 yards, and I mean, he's got to be more of an impact right there. Just haven't had any opportunities.
Left side, caught. Crossing pattern's a good one. Move the chains again. This is just taking too long. 7:44 to go. But at least they're moving the ball. That's something to at least, if they don't come back in this game, you got to keep things like this in the positive for St. Louis, because you're moving the ball. At least keep it going momentum-wise for next week. That one is a catch for McCray, but there's not much to it. And that will make a 2nd and 7.
Yeah, and look, and Vegas is willing to give them that all day, right? They're going to go throw short, right? They're playing back. They don't want to give up the big play to get themselves in a situation where they might be in any danger. Not that they are.
Right. Looks to throw to the outside. McCray's in trouble and drops the ball.
That so looked like a catch in a fumble. But this was fortunate enough for St. Louis, it wasn't called a fumble, because this would have just got even way worse than what it was. That was close.
That was a problem. 3rd and it is 3rd and 7. Koizumi backs it up, throws on a little bit of a setup screen, and can't get the yardage. So it's 4th down. There's 6:57 to go in it, and on 4th down, I think they got to go for it.
Yes, of course. And look, and this is I've been impressed by at the way that the Vegas defense has been playing, right? Especially them losing like their last 3 games and the last 2 games by at least 2 scores, and they come in here now and are not surrendering a whole lot of points. They've only given up 2 field goals, able to force a ton of turnovers. It's definitely a needed change for them as they look, and they win this game during the playoffs.
Here we go. Koizumi looks, runs, and does she get it? I don't think she did.
I don't think she
did. They gave it to her.
No, I don't think so.
No, they didn't. I'm sorry, they did not. Stearns is out there. That is a possession change. Didn't get the 1st down, and a failed drive again for St. Louis. Wow. And Nitro is going to try to put the nail in the coffin here. 1st and 10.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of Jack Nitro. You can see his numbers there, getting over 3 yards of carry, and they got to Man, like Vegas has played so well tonight,
You
right?
wanted to see it, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's just in St. Louis, right? Some of the things they want to work on, it just seems like they weren't able to because the passing game was just crazy good from Vegas tonight, and that was one of the focuses St. Louis had on defense, and it just did not work for them.
Another handoff to Nitro, going to try to work it. Got stuck behind a blocker and then gets taken down in a judo throw at the 42-yard line. 2nd and 7. 5:41 left in this fourth quarter. And I mean, St. Louis trying to get the ball back to their offense, but Vegas content to just work this into the ground.
Yeah, look, and they're just going to just keep it on the ground here too. Look, and I'm interested to, hey, look, whenever teams, hear from our commissioner Cameron, when teams make these changes, right? Like, what are we expecting, and what are the things that, hey, look, when the teams don't make these changes, how much of an impact are we expecting it to have?
Bunch right. Chance for Vegas to move it downfield over the middle. That one's caught to the 33 to the 30-yard line into St. Louis territory. Cameron, go for it.
Yeah, great question, Gerald. So, like for Vegas, for example, they wanted to improve the third down offense. So what we looked at is on third down and long were at least 3 of the routes beyond the sticks, right? What are we talking about? Because if you've got only 2 out of 5 routes that are beyond the sticks, your odds of the quarterback making a read that's going to get a first down are low. So you look at that, and then on third down and medium, you're looking at something similar. On third and short, you're looking to make sure that not too many routes are too far down the field, because if on third and short they just chuck it down the field and it doesn't work, we're sitting here going, why would they do that? Why not just do something short? So it's going through and looking at that and improving it. For St. Louis, the cornerback play was so poor last week, they didn't necessarily make any game plan adjustments. That's what makes this game today so surprising, because their corners got such a lift, one of the largest lifts of any team or any personnel grouping this season, because not only was it a game plan adjustment for them to improve their coverage out of their defensive backfield, but then on the progression side of things, they also wanted to establish a new number 1 corner in the offense. That's not what happened, and they just gave up another one.
Wow. That was a dot down the right side to Battle, who has 2 receiving touchdowns today. And that just speaks exactly to what you were talking about, Cameron. Vegas is all over it today, and they've played a whale of a game.
Yeah, and and that was one of the things right there too, like the third down efficiency right there. Cam was talking about, and they're coming through on third down and going to hit a play action, and then Braylon Battle gets deep and scored a touchdown. And like the vertical passing game, that's something they worked on, that Cam mentioned, right? They wanted to work on that, and it just hasn't translated for them at all.
Just a crazy bit of everything going on for the Vegas Devils, who have been on a tear tonight. 38-6 is the way this game has gone, and St. Louis is going to be fighting themselves on the plane ride home.
Yeah, look, I'd love to hear Cameron come back on and actually finish his thought on what he was going on, as he was so rudely interrupted by Battle catching a touchdown.
Exactly. Don't you have enough? But sometimes adjustments, they work, and then sometimes they don't. It's about matchups. It's about momentum. You look at a team like Cincinnati. There's not a single thing that we have done for Cincinnati this season that has worked. They won 6 straight games with no problems, and then they lost 6 straight games, meaning every time we changed something, they got worse, and it didn't work. And so after those 6 losses, they voted to just go back to the way it was, and they've won 2 in a row. They're 8-0 without any interference. But then sometimes, like Vegas tonight, just one little adjustment. They've been so good on third down, just so electric in this game that it's that type of thing can save a season. If I'm St. Louis right now sitting there, I'm thinking we have to improve our carry. We got to stop the fumbles. We got to stop hurting ourselves. And then beyond that, it's how do we? Oh boy!
Oh my God!
Are you kidding me?
Man.
Beyond that, it's how to avoid stuff like that. I mean, this is this is an outpour from Vegas. This is a month and a half of anger over this losing streak that they're taking out on the East former #1 team tonight. Shocking.
Chris Corrales, he's sitting there while he's sitting there, and that is a big-time interception for Vegas, just to kind of put the exclamation point on what has been a dominant performance from the Vegas Devils. I'll tell you what, if the Vegas Devils play like this the rest of the season, there's not going to be a lot of teams in the UFL that can beat them.
No,
there's going to be several, but there's not going to be a lot.
I mean, because if you look at all their games, right, that they actually had, early on, and it's especially the last 3. I mean, they're giving up multiple scores, double-digit scores, losing by double digits, and then they come into this game, right, knowing what they needed to work on, right, and being able to get that done and come in and put on this performance, and your defense comes in and shuts down the opponent as well. I mean, this is what every team wants for at this stage in the season.
Yeah, you're exactly right. 2-minute warning. 2 more minutes left in this game, and then St. Louis has a plane ride from hell to look forward to on the way home. Third and 2 coming up. 2nd and 2 coming up.
I'm not sure Vegas wants to hear Cam talk at all, because every time he comes on, there's like a touchdown, there's like a pick. We don't want to hear this guy talk and give out our secrets. We just want to win the ball game and leave everybody wondering, hey, what are they doing that calls, them to beat a #1 seed in a conference?
I mean, I think that brings up the next point. Is this has been more about what Vegas has done well and not as much about what St. Louis has done wrong. Granted, they've made some mistakes, don't get me wrong. I mean, Koizumi not being able to hold on to the ball in those rushes, and the 2 fumbles by McCray definitely hurt. But at the same point, they had to be forced to some degree. I mean, McCray got one punched out earlier. That was a big one. And then Vegas has been the epitome of efficiency with the football and offense.
Yeah, look, and that's the thing. Like, their offense is just rolling and going down there and putting up points, and their defense is forcing a ton of turnovers, right? Like, I don't ever think that an offense is solely responsible for the turnovers that are done. I mean, the defense puts the offense in a tough situation, and they're knocking balls out, and they're making plays. They're making sure the quarterback pick.
There's one. They go back the other way, and then they take it out of the end zone to the 4-yard line. So there's that. By the way, the league notes from the commissioner: Vegas can kick rocks for interrupting Cameron twice when he's trying to make one thought. So there's that. So they'll win the game, but they also win the ire of Cameron Irvine.
and then it's like where he's gonna, they're gonna get this pick right here at the end, and look, if Cameron would have came on right here talking, then he'd be hating on St. Louis too, because they'd cut him right off as well.
Exactly. So Koizumi, only 1 interception for Koizumi. She hasn't thrown the ball terribly. It's just been the turnovers that when she runs the ball, or when St. Louis runs the ball, that have been the major issue so far. But 5 turnovers hurts no matter which way you slice it. Koizumi's going to throw from out of the end zone, and it's dropped incomplete with 1 minute and 5 seconds to go.
Yeah, I just think St. Louis is trying to get some positivity out of, maybe their last drive. It will be their last drive no matter what right here, whether they pick up first down or not. Just trying to get some positivity, maybe to take it into next week.
And it is going to be dropped as well. Nothing doing. And it is going to... Oh, they actually gave it to him. 3rd and 6. That was a catch to the 8-yard line. No big deal. 3rd and 6 coming up for St. Louis. Give them something to squeak about. 46 seconds left on the clock. Get it to the 14-yard line for a first. Koizumi, and that ball is incomplete. That one plinkled around for a bit, but nothing doing. 4th and 6, and they'll likely go for it.
Yeah, look, and they have to go for it. Why not? What you got to lose, right? So, but look, I mean, if anything, St. Louis looks, as they go into next week, they got to play Wichita, who sits at 6-8 right now, on the season, and I mean, who knows where it's going to stand after that, right? So, I mean, look, could they itch their way, back in there, and with maybe a loss, or 2 from Dallas with a win next week, they might find themselves right back in, like the top 4 seeds going into the playoffs. So it's not over for them, but it's just, man, when they play tonight, they don't look like a division winning team.
No, they don't. You're right. And then that one will get all the way down to the 39-yard line. What a punt coming on from the St. Louis special teams. So probably a kneel down or two if St. Louis really wants to be sticklers about the timeouts, but probably not. There, nope. Vegas is going to run the ball. Okay. Why not? 38-6. And they're going to hand it off. Nitro with 6 more yards in garbage time. And 7 more yards. Sorry. Don't hate me, Nitro. And it's 2nd and 3.
Like, and this is look. Why not? Just keep going.
Okay. Well, they let it go that time. That's at least that. So, final score 38-6. Vegas holds St. Louis without a touchdown in this game. They came in and gave a very positive showing to their fans, to the critics, doubting them coming into this football game. Does Vegas have it? And I think that is an emphatic yes.
Look, and they can check off the box and say, hey, look, we're in the playoffs now, right? Not that they're going to take a back seat, because they're going to look to, hey, work their way up right into it now, right? Here they are sitting at 10-5, with a game left. And look, and they like, here, look, we're trying to get the highest seed right now.
Yeah.
Like a division title is not actually in their sights, but they like, look, we want to get the highest seed we possibly can. So, gives us the best chance going forward in the playoffs. And St. Louis, man, a lot of stuff they got to clean up and try and repair and fix, because they just did not look very good at all. And they just got to go into next week, when they travel to Wichita, right? One of the things on the road, and now this makes them on the road 3-4 on the road. St. Louis, they go on the road again, like it's a 6-8 team. Depending on how it shakes out, they might, Wichita got something to play for as well. So
they do.
We're going to see how it's going to shake out.
Good stuff. 3 news and notes for you. 1, Takeda Yuki with the $2 super chat saying, well done, Vegas. That's some sportsmanship right there. Good work from Takeda Yuki. Number 2, 471 total yards of offense for Vegas. That is a stat to lean on and something that we can use as context for next week if see if they can continue that momentum. And number 3, tune in here tomorrow night. It is a game day matinee at 2 p.m. It is Phoenix, Minnesota, Cleveland, Rochester, and Fresno, New Orleans here on VFN before SFL Week 6 gets underway. For Gerald Smith and for Cameron Irvine, I'm Chris Curtis saying goodbye and good night from the desert. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon for more on the UFL on the Virtual Football Network.